Stop scrolling. This is not a coincidence. This is not just another video. This is a divine interruption. Chosen one, the moment your eyes met this title, something shifted. You felt it, not in your mind, but in your spirit. That person, that name, that lingering weight on your chest. It wasn't imagination. It wasn't confusion. It was a summons, a whisper from heaven itself, and you heard it. You've wrestled in silence. You've asked, was this a gift or a test? Was this bond protection or punishment? Was I planted in this connection or buried by it? But the ache in your soul is not a red flag. It is a signal that something eternal was written into your story, and the pages are now turning. This space you've entered isn't random. This is echoes of the chosen. And what you are about to hear has been echoing in the chambers of heaven, waiting for the moment your spirit would be ready to receive it. That moment is now. You have not been forgotten. You have not misheard. The storm around you, the silence between you, the warfare within you, it all points to one truth. This is not just about a person. This is about purpose. The scriptures are clear. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. That means your battle isn't with the one you love. It's with the darkness terrified of what will happen if you don't give up. So stay. Don't walk away from this word. Stay until the very end, because what's being unsealed in this message may explain your entire season, your entire silence, and the very reason the enemy has targeted your heart so relentlessly. The scroll is opening, and your name is written on it. The unseen covenant before time measured your days, before your first heartbreak, before your voice ever spoke their name. There was already a line written in the scrolls of heaven, a line that connected your life to theirs. It wasn't a chance encounter, it was a covenant hidden in plain sight. You did not stumble into this bond. You were led into it. Heaven never orchestrates meaningless collisions. Every eye lock, every moment of strange familiarity, every whisper in your spirit that said, "Pay attention." These were not emotional sparks. They were divine markers. The same God who joined Ruth to Boaz, David to Jonathan, Mary to Elizabeth. He also authored this. And when God writes a union, it carries weight beyond emotion. It carries assignment. The enemy doesn't fight casual relationships. He only wars against connections that can change bloodlines. If you've wondered why this has been so heavy, so turbulent, so hard to forget, it's because you were not walking through a moment. You were standing in a battlefield of legacy. You weren't haunted by the past. You were summoned by your scroll. Every bond has fingerprints. Human ones fade, but divine ones burn. And that fire is what you're feeling now. The holy silence. There is a silence that bruises the soul, not because it is loud, but because it stretches. The kind of silence where prayers feel like echoes, where your spirit waits and waits, yet heaven says nothing. But in the life of every chosen one, there comes a divine pause. A hush before the revealing. Job sat in silence. David hid in caves while God said nothing. Joseph was buried in the quietness of prison while his dreams rotted in delay. But silence in the life of the chosen is never emptiness. It is surveillance. It is refining. It is God watching who you become when no one is clapping. You've mistaken it for abandonment, but God never abandoned you. He simply removed the noise. Because some answers are not heard, they are birthed in the waiting. The silence wasn't absence. It was God folding your wings in secret. And here's the sacred truth. If God had spoken too soon, you would have moved too early. But He wanted your faith, not your impulse. And that person, they too are in their own silence. Heaven is not only shaping you, it is sculpting both sides of the bond. Stillness is not death. It is holy breath held before the exhale of destiny. The crushing comes before the crown. You asked, if this was from God, why did it break me? And the answer is hidden in every biblical life that carried power. Before the crown came the crushing. Esther was orphaned before she was crowned. Joseph was betrayed before he was elevated. David was hunted before he ever held the throne. The crushing is not a sign you were wrong. It is the fire reserved for gold. You were never rejected to be discarded. You were pressed to be purified. And sometimes the connection itself became the tool in God's hand, exposing your wounds, stretching your capacity, cutting away everything that would contaminate the promise. The person didn't just enter your life for comfort. They entered to agitate growth, to awaken dormant faith, to teach you how to war in prayer when logic failed. And yes, the tears were real, but even your weeping was counted as worship. You weren't destroyed. You were refined. Pain that comes with purpose always carves space for greater glory. When the chosen turn back, there is a danger far more devastating than betrayal. It is self-sabotage. The moment a chosen one walks away from a divine assignment before it matures, something in the spirit realm collapses. The enemy wins not by overpowering you, but by convincing you to disqualify yourself. Ask Jonah, who ran from his commission and found himself swallowed. Ask Moses, who struck the rock instead of trusting the word and forfeited the promised land. Ask Demas, who loved this present world and abandoned his post. What you carry in this connection is not simply for now. It is for nations unborn. If you let frustration speak louder than the Spirit, you risk aborting a move of God before it has taken form. The enemy doesn't need to steal your calling. He only needs you to walk away from it. This bond, however fractured it feels, holds pieces of your assignment. And if you throw it away in haste, you may find yourself haunted not by regret, but by silence. The kind that comes when the scroll was closed too soon. What you walk away from today may have been the door to what you've been praying for tomorrow. Weapons in your mouth, fire in your bones. The chosen are never left defenseless. Your warfare is not in your fists, it is in your voice. Heaven responds to the sound of authority wrapped in surrender. When you speak the name of that person in prayer, angels are dispatched. When you bless instead of curse, chains break in places you'll never see. You are not called to argue your way through this battle. You were called to prophesy, to intercede, to stand as the breach mender. God never asked you to fix them. He asked you to lift them. Every time you prayed instead of posted, every time you held your tongue when your flesh wanted to lash out, every moment you whispered their name in the night, these were your weapons. Jeremiah said, "His word was in my heart like a fire, shut up in my bones." That's what you carry now. You don't need to be loud. You need to be lit from the inside out. Your silence in intercession is louder in heaven than 1,000 arguments on earth. You are not powerless. You are armed. The person is the portal. This is not about a happy ending. This is about a holy beginning. God joins people not for pleasure, but for purpose. That person carries keys. Keys that unlock doors you weren't meant to open alone. You've been trying to separate the connection from the calling, but they were written on the same scroll. When Mary greeted Elizabeth, the baby leapt in her womb. That's what divine alignment does. It activates destiny. So too, your connection was meant to stir what was sleeping. And even in this storm, that stirring hasn't stopped. Sometimes the person sent by God won't feel safe. They will feel sacred. They will unearth everything buried in you, not to break you, but to build you. They are not your idol. They are your mirror. And mirrors don't always comfort, they confront. If you dismiss the portal because of the pressure, you may close the door on an entire season of assignment. You are not alone in this battle. You've felt isolated, like no one else understands this weight, but you are not the only one. All over the earth, a remnant is rising. People just like you, who carry a hidden ache for someone they can't explain. chosen ones whose connections look shattered on the surface but burn with eternal fire underneath. Elijah once cried, "I am the only one left." And heaven replied, "There are 7,000 more. You are not forsaken. You are not foolish. You are not alone. This isn't just your battle. It is our war. And your faith strengthens others, even when you feel weak." The very video you're watching now was created because someone else carried their pain into obedience. You're not watching echoes of the chosen. You are echoes of the chosen. You are part of a divine uprising. Your love echoes eternity. What you choose now will not only shape your heart, it will echo across timelines. Your love, when rooted in obedience, becomes a force, a sword, a seed. It blesses generations you will never see. It shifts atmospheres long after your name is forgotten. The enemy is not fighting you because of what you feel. He's fighting you because of what your faith might birth. A healed family. A broken cycle ended. A future realigned. If you remain faithful, you will walk through doors that were locked for generations. This connection is not about you. It's about legacy. And legacy doesn't begin in ease. It begins in surrender. So now, heaven leans in, waiting, watching, not just to see what you feel, but to see what you will do. Will you guard what was given? Will you war for what was whispered? Will you remain until the scroll is fulfilled? Or will you walk away? One breath before breakthrough. You thought the breaking was proof it was over. But in the kingdom, breaking is never the end. It is the unveiling. The shaking wasn't meant to scatter you. It was meant to strip the illusion and reveal the assignment. What you thought was rejection was redirection. What felt like silence was sacred strategy. And what looked like separation was God sharpening your discernment for what He refuses to let you forfeit. You weren't just in a battle for connection. You were in a battle for covenant. Chosen one, listen carefully. You have endured what few could carry. You have wept prayers no one heard, except the one who counts every tear as intercession. You stood still while the earth shook beneath your feet, not because you were weak, but because you were rooted. Heaven saw. Heaven recorded. Heaven responds. You are not at the end. You are at the edge. The threshold is before you, and now the scroll has spoken. The assignment is alive. You have been marked. You have been forged. And now you are being sent. If this word confirmed what your spirit has long known but never dared say aloud, comment 777 below. Let heaven see your agreement. Let hell hear your resolve. Let your soul echo the decree, I will not quit. Tell us what part stirred your spirit the deepest. What line, what truth, what moment felt like it was written only for you. Your testimony becomes a torch for the next one in darkness. Subscribe to Echoes of the Chosen and stay aligned with the rising remnant. This is more than a message. It is a mantle, and you are not alone. You are the next echo, and your sound is about to shake nations.